words of our Divine Mother from the book The Rays of Light by our Divine Mother, which is again taken from the Mother's collected works of volume 14 and 15. Page 14, second chapter, The Path of Yoga. The path of integral yoga. Our Divine Mother says, life is a perpetual choice between truth and falsehood, light and darkness, progress and regression, the ascent towards the heights or a fall into the abyss. It is for each one to choose freely. Date 29 February 1952. In each one's life, says our Divine Mother, in each one's life, a moment comes when he has to choose between the path and the muddle. You cannot put one foot here and one foot there. If you try, you will be torn to pieces. A heart that does not choose is a heart that will die. You take up the spiritual path only when you feel you cannot do otherwise. Date 27th October 1952. The intellectual attitude comes first and practice follows little by little. What is important is to maintain very alert the will to live and to be what one knows to be the truth. Then it is impossible to stop and even more to fall back. All human beings have a spiritual destiny which is near or far, depending on each one's determination. One must will in all sincerity. Date 11th April 1965. Next topic, Yoga. Mother says a sadhak means a person who follows or one who follows a yogic discipline. Sadhana means yogic discipline. Yoga is nothing but a union with the divine. By extension, the path which leads to this union is yoga. The whole world, Mother says, the whole world is in a process of progressive transformation. If you take the discipline of yoga, you speed up in yourself the process. Yoga is commensurate with all life. Next topic, integral yoga. There are three conceptions of the world. The first one, Buddhist and Shankarite. The world is an illusion as per the Buddhist and the Shankarites. The world is an illusion, a field of ignorance and suffering due to ignorance. The one thing to do is to get out of it as soon as possible and disappear into the original non-existence or non-manifestation. The Vedantic is the second one, the Vedantic as very commonly understood. The world is essentially divine, for the divine is omnipresent there, but its exterior expression is distorted, obscure, ignorant, perverted. The one thing to do is to become conscious of the inner divine and remain fixed in that consciousness without troubling about the world. For this external world cannot change and will be always in the natural state of unconsciousness and ignorance. Now the third one, the very important one, is Sri Aurobindo's view. The world as it is not the divine creation, it is meant to be but an obscure and perverted expression of it. It is not the expression of the divine consciousness and will, but this is what is meant to be, to become. It has been created to develop into a perfect manifestation of the divine under all his forms and aspects, light and knowledge, power, love and beauty. This is our conception of it and the aim we follow. Date 24th Feb 1936. Our Divine Mother says, the usual sadhanas have for aim the union with the Supreme Consciousness, which is Satchit Anandam. And those who reach there are satisfied with their own liberation and leave the world to its unhappy plight. On the contrary, Sri Aurobindo's sadhana starts where the others end. Once the union with the Supreme is realized, one must bring down that realization to the exterior world and change the conditions of life upon earth until a total transformation is accomplished. In accordance with this aim, the sadhaks of the integral yoga do not retire from the world to lead a life of contemplation and meditation. Each one must devote at least 1/3 of office time to a usual work. All activities are represented in the ashram, and each one chooses the work most congenial to his nature, but must do it in a spirit of service and unselfishness, keeping always in view the aim of integral transformation. To make this purpose possible, the ashram is organized so that all its inmates find their reasonable needs satisfied and have not to worry about their sustenance. The rules are very few so that one can enjoy the freedom needed for his development, but a few things are strictly forbidden. They are politics, smoking, alcohol drink, and sex enjoyment. Our mother says great care is taken for the maintenance of good health and the welfare and the normal growth of the body of all, small, big, young, or old. Date 24th September 1953. The more I go, the more I know that it is in the work that Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga is best done. 9th October 1966. It is not what you do, but the spirit in which you do it that is more important for integral yoga. 1971. Tapasya, a discipline imposed by the will for any spiritual end, is tapasya. A discipline imposed by the will for any spiritual end is tapasya. Tapasya is a discipline aiming at the realization of the divine. To be a man, discipline is indispensable. Without discipline, one is only an animal. One begins to be a man only when he aspires to be a higher and a truer life, and when he accepts the discipline of transformation. For this, one must start by mastering one's lower nature and its desires. Date 9th March 1972. Ascetic practices, our Divine Mother says, I do not believe that sadhana in the cave is easy. Only there the insincerity remains hidden, while in life and action it is revealed. You can look like a yogi in a cave, but in life the humbugging is more difficult because you have to behave like a yogi. Date 6th September 1935. One thing we want to know is how much you are eating, whether you sleep regularly or sufficiently. These 2 points are of great importance, for a sadhana of this kind demands in order to bear that the mind and body and nervous system should not be weakened by undernourishment and lack of sleep. Date 16th December 1940. Here, sensibleness is indispensable, and the integral yoga is based on balance, calm, and peace, and not an unhealthy need to suffer. Date 12th May 1969. As long as it is an austerity, there are reactions. When it becomes an imperative need, it is good. Question: should I spend some time in solitude? For this, our mother says, it is the old methods of yoga which demand silence and solitude. The yoga of tomorrow is to find the divine in work and in relation with the world. Look within yourself, reflect upon it, and tell me what your choice is. Date 24 Jan 1971. Entire physical retirement is seldom healthy, although a temporary retirement is often helpful. But the main thing is an inner detachment and complete turning to the divine. Next topic, concentration. The moment that stores up and concentrates is no less needed than the moment that spreads and diffuses. Date 13th April 1935. Concentration on a precise goal is helpful to development. The more we concentrate on the goal, the more it blossoms forth and becomes precise. Meditation, that's the next topic. Mother says, when you sit in meditation, you must be as candid and simple as a child, not interfering by your external mind, expecting nothing, insisting on nothing. Once this condition is there, all the rest depends upon the aspiration deep within you. And if you call upon divinity, then too you will have the answer. Date 26 Jan 1935. The increase of time given to meditation is not very useful unless the urge for meditation comes spontaneously from inside and not from any arbitrary decision of the mind. Date 17th October 1939. To keep constantly a concentrated and ingathered attitude is the most important thing than the fixed hours of meditation. These are the golden words of our Divine Mother.